Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your October 2016 general readings. I am still using the Gilded Tarot deck by artist Ciro Marchetti, drawing the customary 8 cards for the month, 2 cards for each week, with an additional 9th card from the bottom of the deck as your crowning card representing overall energy and advice for the reading. If this is your primary sun sign, this video is for Taurus. If Taurus is your primary sun sign, you may want to check your rising and your moon as well. I suggest that you do. This video may or may not resonate or play out predictively for you, or it may only play out for you predictively in 1 or 2 areas of your life. I always watch all 3 of my signs, sun, moon, and rising, for whatever time span the reading covers, because I find that each of them provides information in different areas of my life, which help put together a more complete and cohesive picture. So watch all 3 if you can, to get a more clear path ahead. Thank you, always thank you to those of you who continue to watch and listen and subscribe to this channel, and who are the most important part of helping this video grow, and the community as well, which I see is about 11,000 strong now, thanks to you, because you guys are the reason I do this. Thank you very much for all the support and feedback. You guys are brilliant with the comments. Keep them coming. It's one of my most enjoyable things to do, is read the comments, both the ones that you place on the feedback sections of the video themselves, and the ones that some of you take the time to send via email in describing how the readings play out in your lives. I love reading those, and even though I don't, of course, have time to respond to all of them, I do read each and every single one of them. So thank you very much, and keep them coming. A special thank you as well to those of you who reach out to me for one-on-one readings. It is a pleasure and an honor always to read for you, and I'm very grateful for the trust that you place in me to interpret and intuit the cards for you. And thank you to my regular clients as well. It is a delight to be part of your lives playing forward, and thank you for the consistent updates that you send me as well. And if any of you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading with me and you have not read with me before, you can click on the little About button on my YouTube channel's homepage, which will give you a little more information and detail on myself, the services I offer, and my contact information and email. You can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I would be delighted to work with you. I do readings full time, so I'm able to get back with you quite quickly and set up a reading within a pretty timely fashion. Current turnaround time, which I'm always asked about, is realistically anywhere between a couple of days to a week and a half, but almost always within 2 weeks we can set something up for you, depending on what type of reading you want, recorded or live via Skype or phone as well, which I do, and we may have to coordinate time zones. So again, anywhere from a couple of days to 2 weeks at most. So if you're interested, send me an email, and we will work together and set something up that works for you and your schedule. So moving right along, this reading is for Taurus for October 2016. Taurus, October 2016. Show me the energies for the earth sign of Taurus. Taurus the bull for October 2016. What does the month of October hold for my lovely, grounded, horned bulls? Sometimes stubborn, but oh so solid bulls. Taurus, October 2016. What does the month of October 2016 have in store for Taurus? Taurus. Kind of have this image of this lovely, strong bull pawing at the ground now in my head. October 2016 for Taurus. Forgive my raspiness and my occasional cough and sniffles. I am getting over a summer cold, so if I sound a little hoarse, that's why. Okay, Taurus, we begin with the Ten of Wands, followed by the Tower, the Page of Swords, followed by the Page of Pentacles. Next to that, we have the Queen of Cups, followed by the Three of Wands, and then Judgment, followed by the Eight of Cups. And from the bottom of the deck, your overall energy and advice is the Six of Swords. Let's just take a look, Taurus. I'm already getting kind of a, well, we know you're coming to the end of something with that Ten of Wands. Looks like something very challenging. For some of you, this may have had something to do with a child or young people in your life. I feel a bit of a moral dilemma and a truth needed to be spoken out about, and then moving on. But definitely it looks like you're dealing with something, but coming to the end of dealing with something, and you're going to be moving into through and at the end of October a much more peaceful time for those of you who have been struggling with anything. Particularly in speaking up, I feel a sense of being in a situation where, again, truth needs to be told or speaking up needs to occur. For some of you, this may be in a job or work situation. Interesting. Okay, let's begin, Taurus. So we find ourselves at the beginning of October 2016 with the Ten of Wands, excuse me, followed by the major arcana card of the Tower. So the Ten of Wands. Wands is a suit ruled by the element of fire. So the suit of Wands governs things. It's a very active, action-oriented energy. It's all about change, movement, action, power. It rules things like creating, manifesting, building things. It can represent things like career, projects, but you can apply the same energy in any area of your life. And you have a pretty even scattering of cards in your suit. We have a couple of swords, a couple of cups, two wands and a pentacles card, and two major arcana. So pretty even scattering of energy. So tens in numerology, tens represent the end of cycle, the culmination or coming full circle, the achievement of something. And it looks like you're coming to the end of something which has been of a burden or a challenge to you. This can represent kind of like the cross that you've been walking with for a while, a heaviness, a responsibility, obligations. It can represent coming to the end of a project, but something which has felt quite heavy, quite challenging for you, and some it can be something even quite painful or traumatic paired with that Tower card, but you're coming to the end of it in the month of October, particularly in the first half of the month, Taurus. And I feel like this has been a kind of a long-standing thing for you. I always feel like this man kind of started off with one or two wands, and then he just kept picking up more and more as time goes on. This represents the successful carrying of a burden. He hasn't dropped any of his wands, or if he has, he's managed to pick them back up and keep going. But it's been heavy, so heavy that he's unable to stand up straight. He's completely bowed over by the weight of whatever this thing is, this situation, this relationship, this person. Dilemma, I think, for a lot of you. But he's at the end. You can see his head up and he's looking at what I always feel is his destination, just right here, that place where he can lay this burden down, stand up, take a deep breath, and be free of it and walk away, coming to the end of something. Now, that Ten of Wands is paired with the Tower card, Major Arcana card. Don't be scared, Taurus. I know a lot of people don't like to see the Tower card, kind of makes them clench up when they see it. This is Major Arcana card, so divine, significant, profound energies. The key to utilizing and understanding the energy of the Tower card, or any other major arcana card that sometimes people feel, anxiousness or trepidation about. Because the Tower card often represents, not always, but this is a game changer. This is something that comes in and totally rocks your world right down to the foundation. Sometimes that can be a really wonderful thing. And of course, everything being a matter of perception. Sometimes at the time it's happening, it can feel like something very negative or challenging or painful. A lot of times, the Tower card represents the destruction or complete removal of something in your life that you thought was solid, stable, reliable, trustworthy, tangible, but in fact really wasn't. Perhaps there was cracks in the foundation, or it was harmful to you, or it just served its purpose and needed to go. Typically, when the tarot card shows up with that energy, we've often had a couple of opportunities to take care of it ourselves, but for whatever reason, we've been unable and unwilling to. So at some point, the universe, spirit comes in and kind of does it for us, which allows something to be completely removed from our lives. Which was not really all that stable in spite of what we thought, and allows us the bare ground to begin building again something that's actually real and stable and has no cracks. You've got both these cards together that represent the end of a cycle, the complete ending or removal of something in your life. And the key to understanding and utilizing the energies of the tarot card and cards like it is to understand that this is divine. This is major arcana energy. This is divine energy we have no control over, but we do have a choice in how we choose to respond and move on and through it. And the key to utilizing that is to recognize that what's happening is playing out as it's meant to, and to try to the best of our ability not to struggle and resist, which will enable us to and allow us to move through it a little easier and a little quickly, particularly if we try to stay focused on what we're meant to learn and take with us from this experience. So it looks like you've been through, or are just kind of wrapping up, or I'm here to tell you that you are at the end of dealing with you're in the end process of dealing with something which I feel has been very challenging for some of you, very difficult. Even sometimes for some of you, this could represent something traumatic. Or just, cataclysmic, something that happened that really kind of rocked your world and ended something in your life. It could be a situation, a job, a relationship, a belief system, a really fundamental way of looking at something. It's ending as we're ending September 2016, moving into October. You're coming to the end of something, and it's something that needs to go, or if it's something that completely shifted how you looked at something. Again, this is divine timing, orchestration, and something that's meant to be. But for those of you who still feel like it's a challenge and difficult, you're coming to the end of it. So take heart. And with that lovely earth energy that you possess, Taurus, you are well able, you're up to this challenge. But it looks like you've already put in a lot of work in dealing with it. Now, right next to that, we have a combination of two pages. We have the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. So pages represent the youngest and least mature energies of the tarot. They can represent actual children or young people in your life. For some of you, whatever the situation you're dealing with, or you're at the end of dealing with it, coming to the end of dealing with it, could have something to do with children, young people in your life. We do have Judgment in the upright. It could have been a legal situation that you've been in regarding a child of some kind. It could be a custody battle. It could be conflict with the young person or child themselves. It could be, a legal situation stemming from something the young person or child did themselves. If your child or someone you're responsible with has gotten into trouble, something very difficult and challenging. For some of you, this is going to play out that way. Of course, there's so many of you watching. The story is going to split off and resonate. Specifically different for everyone, but the energy remains the same. For some of you, and I actually think this is what I'm feeling for a lot of you, this situation that you've been dealing with, that it looks like you're at the end point of dealing with it, has something to do with speaking up in a situation, speaking the truth, or finding yourself in a situation, whether ongoing now or very, very recently, where you've known about something, and this feels very specifically oriented. You saw something happening which was wrong or immoral or unethical in some way, and you were put in a position where you really struggled with whether to speak up or not, which is another definition and energy of the Page of Swords as well. Swords is a suit ruled by the element of air, and its energy is very mental and cerebral. The suit of swords rules our ideas, our words, how we think, our outlooks, perspective, perceptions, belief system. It's about how we think, how we see things. And the Page of Swords can represent a situation in which, swords rules ideas and ideals. And ideally, it's always best to, even if it comes at a high cost, it's always best to take the high road, to speak the truth, to make sure that those ideals are, you make them as high as possible in terms of personal honor and integrity. And the Page of Swords can represent being in a situation where, because of something that you've seen or become aware of or you know of, a truth needs to be spoken. Somebody needs to stand up and speak the truth about a situation. And it can represent being at that place and sometimes feeling quite alone in that, because you feel compelled to speak the truth about something, even though you're nervous about it or anxious about it. I'm getting quite a strong energy about that. So it must be specifically oriented towards some of you. For some of you, I'm feeling like this was a work situation, something to do with your job or career path. Maybe you became aware of something that was going on, something that was illegal or just not right. And you really felt or feel compelled to speak the truth about something, which is always, I think, the best policy. Having judgment in the upright position too, that's also has the very strong advice of being very careful about how you proceed through something, because what you set into motion, what you choose to do or choose not to do, is going to set the stage for something for quite some time to come, particularly in the arena of your own personal character. The Page of Swords can represent being in a situation where the advice is to stand up, speak the truth, stand up for your own sense of honor and integrity, because even though it's a very challenging or difficult situation, what you gain from it, the intangible benefits that you gain from it, will be evident when you get to the other side of it, kind of a character building sort of thing. And those situations can always be very difficult, particularly if you're in a situation, Taurus, where you're the only one standing up for it. But again, the advice is to always do that, because it's, especially, I'm drawn to that Judgment card, the Page of Swords and the Judgment card. What you set into motion or don't set into motion is going to be difficult to come back from. So if it's a situation where you feel compelled to speak the truth but you don't, the next time you find yourself in a similar situation, it'll be easier to stay quiet. So something like that, it feels very specific for some of you, so I'll be interested to see what the feedback is for those of you for whom that resonates. So the Page of Swords is also paired with the, and also pages can represent messages and messengers too, and this could also represent a message you get that's delivered in a pretty blunt sort of way, perhaps a way that isn't. And again, it could be about telling the truth. Sometimes there's no easy way to say it except just to come out and say it, because that's how the page would deliver a message. Now that Page of Swords is paired with the Page of Pentacles. So Pentacles is a suit that's governed by the element of earth, and it's a suit that rules things in our earthly material, tangible world. Things we can see and touch and feel typically. Often it's things like money, finances, property, resources, job, assets, etc. In the arenas of love and relationships and spirituality, it's still very tangible, dependable, reliable, sincere energy in the upright position anyway, ideally. So this page can also represent being at a place where you're just coming to a deeper understanding and awareness of things in the tangible, physical, material world, sometimes financial world. It can also represent kind of having your eyes open to the real world in a sense, which I'm feeling kind of that connection to this situation. For some of you, it's as if whatever this situation is that you've been dealing with or are dealing with right now, but you're at the end point of it. Again, it feels like however it plays out specifically for you, you're feeling compelled or being called upon by spirit to stand up and speak the truth in something. You may feel quite alone in doing it, but it needs to be said. Something needs to be upheld. For some of you in a job or work environment, and I'm saying that because I'm getting kind of that Pentacles energy, even though you only have one Pentacles here. It could be something at work, a situation at work where somebody's doing something and it just needs to stop. It could be for, any other kind of negotiations or deals or contracts. I'm getting property matters for some of you. There may be something illegal or unethical going on. I feel like Spirit is calling upon you to speak the truth in a situation. Perhaps you're aware of a situation that's more emotional, relationship oriented, where something's going on. Maybe somebody's not treating somebody else well, and you feel compelled to talk to them about it or to confront them with it, particularly if a child is involved at all. However it plays out for you, it's as if your eyes have kind of been open. You're coming to an understanding of what it actually means to have that part of your character challenged in terms of, do I do this? Do I stand up and do what I feel is the right thing or not? Which feels kind of intense. But we all have that sort of moral inner compass that we use to kind of guide us by, that places us into context. So, and you again have that lovely, realistic, practical, grounded sense that allows you to touch base with what your intuition is telling you a little easier, I think, than some other signs, Taurus. And that's going to serve you well this month, because it looks like you're going to do whatever it is that you feel is the morally right thing to do. Although there is cautionary advice that if you don't, it is going to set the stage in some kind of ethical way for your own character, both if anybody else around you knows about it, and for yourself as well. So next to that, around the middle of the month or so, time always being fluid, of course, we have the Queen of Cups, followed by the Three of Wands. And I'm actually feeling this Queen of Cups as a specific individual in your life or involved in this situation. It's going to be playing a significant role, but I feel like she's there in a supportive role, supportive capacity as well. So the Queen of Cups, Cups is a suit that's governed by the element of water. So Cups rules that kind of fluid, watery world of feelings, emotions, our emotional landscape and atmosphere, relationships, how we relate to people, love, all different kinds of love. Queens and kings represent individuals who've reached the mastery of their suit. They kind of evolved. It's kind of a growing up process. They've evolved from the page energy through the knight energy, and now they've reached queen and king status. So they tend to be more mature, reflective individuals, utilizing, at least in the upright, the best of the character traits of their suit. So this Queen of Cups would be a very loving, nurturing, supportive individual. She would be emotional, but balanced emotionally, very grounded emotionally, able to tap and access her emotions and her feelings, but not allow them to rule her or control her in negative ways. This would be somebody with a more soft, feminine kind of feeling, somebody who always knows the right things to say. She's coming up as a queen, but because this is a general reading and there's so many of you watching, and the story's going to play out specifically differently, it could also represent a male as well. Kings and queens share pretty much a lot of the same character traits. The queens just come up as having that slightly softer, more nurturing, sustaining energy, where kings have more of that protector, guardianship, control the external matters kind of energy, but very similar to each other. So it could be a male as well. This could represent, because it's cups, which is ruled by water, it could represent that this person is a water sign, sun, moon, or rising, which would be Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. However it plays out, it feels like this person is going to be actually a source of support to you through a wrapping up, coming to the end of whatever this situation is. She's going to, or he is going to, play a supportive role. This could be somebody that's in it with you as well, but is providing, at least in the month of October, a significant source of emotional support and feedback for you. Now that Queen of Cups is paired with the Three of Wands, so we've got more of that fire energy in the suit of Wands. Now, the suit of Wands is a very fluid, action-oriented suit. It's very forward-moving. And the Three of Wands is no different either, but the Three of Wands has a little bit slower energy of the other cards in the suit of Wands. It has a more gestative, patient energy to it. It's about feeling like you're being at the place where you've done everything you can, you've invested everything you can in something, you've done your homework, whatever the situation is, you've put as much into it as you possibly can. And for you, I feel, Taurus, it feels like you for a lot of you, you do make the choice to do whatever you decide and you feel is the right thing to do here, whether it's stand up and speak the truth in a work situation or a personal situation, make right, try to help make right that which is wrong, doing your part. It feels like you've done everything that you possibly can, and you're kind of waiting to see what the outcome is, and you're in it with this Queen of Cups. It looks like you have a good source of support in that, because that's what this card kind of represents. But it's a very positive card. It's future forward looking. This man has sent this ship out, and he did everything that he could. He did all his research. He outfitted it, equipped it as much as he could. He did everything he could, and he's sending it out. It's an investment for his future. Whatever it is has something to do with the future, building a foundation for the future. He did everything he could. Now he's waiting to see what the outcome is. What is the ship going to be bringing back on it? Did he do everything that he could? But it's about the future, and a positive outlook on the future. So you find yourself, I feel, maybe around the third week of the month, feeling like you've done, I think for a lot of you who made this, whatever this decision was that you felt was best, feeling like you did everything that you could in the situation. And again, it feels like you've got that great support system in the Queen of Cups, who is a source of support and feedback, or who could be in it with you again, in a more partner kind of way. It could be a romantic partner, a friend, a family member, somebody else involved in the situation with you. You know, it could be a male. I think for a lot of you, it's coming up as a female. It could be a mother, a sister, a friend, etc. The energy of the Queen of Cups too, she's a very spiritual, deeply intuitive person, intuitive individual as well. So the energy it also advises to, with the internal struggle is usually about knowing what we should do, but having fear and trepidation about it, which is where the struggle comes from. The Queen of Cups is an intuitive energy too, which along with that Page of Swords and along with the Judgment card says, go within. You know what the right thing is to do. Allow your gut instinct and your intuition to lead you on this as well. So at or towards the end of October 2016, Taurus, we find ourselves with the energy of the Major Arcana card of Judgment, paired with the Eight of Cups. So, Judgment. Major Arcana card, significant, profound energies and advice. The Judgment card is a call to action card. It says, it's a call to action. You can see one of these, the primary angels here blowing the holy horn, calling people to action. Who's going to answer? Who's going to stand up in this situation and do what they know to be the right thing, whatever it is they decide that is? Who's going to answer this call? Are you going to do what you feel compelled to do in this situation? There's also a strong cautionary advice to this card. It says to carefully consider before you do anything or decide not to do anything, before you make any choices, decisions, before you take any action, before you set anything into motion. Make sure that it's exactly what you want to do, that you feel it's the right thing to do, and that you can do it, and do it with the highest level of honor and integrity possible, because it's going to set things in motion that can't be undone or can't be undone easily. It's going to set the stage for something for quite some time to come in a fairly permanent way. And there's a strong moral and ethical energy to this as well. Part of what it's going to be setting the stage for is actually your character and what message you're sending by the choices that you make in the situation, both to the people around you and to you yourself, particularly your higher self as well. So consider carefully in this situation. Now that Judgment card is paired with the Eight of Cups. Now we have that more emotional suit as well. The Eight of Cups is a card of leaving. It's a decisive card of leaving. This man is not, he's already gone through the do I, don't I. He's already made up his mind. Whatever it is he's done to wrap up something, he's done it, and he's now turning his back on this situation, because it can be an energy of turning your back on something and leaving something because ultimately you find it disillusioning, disappointing, not what you thought it was going to be or not what it was presented to be. You can see that these 8 cups on the ground behind this man are tipped over, spilled out. Some of them are standing upright and full. The implication being that he's tasted and drunk from most, if not all, of these cups. And at the end, he found they just weren't what somebody said they were supposed to be. He found out they weren't exactly what he thought they were in the beginning. However it works out, whatever the situation is, it's something which you've found disappointing, disillusioning. You've made a decision to turn your back and walk away and leave it behind after having done everything that you can in the situation to feel good about leaving it. And paired with the Judgment card too, I'm feeling too just this echoing message throughout this reading, Taurus, that there's a way to achieve this walking away, this leaving, whatever the situation, relationship, issue, whatever it is behind. it's about how you do it and the choices you make in doing it. Um, so to enable you to walk away knowing that you did everything you could, you stood up for what you thought was right, you upheld your own personal sense of morals, ethics, honor, integrity, whatever that is for you, so that you're walking away with what's that phrase, with a walking away with without any regrets, basically. And so, whatever this challenge is that you're coming to the end of in October, you are coming through it. You're transitioning into a more peaceful, serene, and healing time, because it looks like it was very, very challenging for you, Taurus. Whatever it is, I'm interested to hear what this is for people, because your crowning card, overall energy and advice, is the Six of Swords, another card of leaving. It can also represent actual travel over water, but it's a card which represents leaving, particularly all the mental anguish and emotional stuff attached to it too, because it's the Suit of Swords, which governs our ideas and the way that we look at things. You can see this woman is sailing away by the moonlight, the light of a full moon, which is also a sign of intuition. Whenever you see cards, you have that Ten of Wands that has a moon in it, as well, that Eight of Cups. Whenever you see the moon card, it often speaks to that intuitive side of us, getting in touch with that knowing, that intuitive knowing of what we're supposed to do. This is a card that represents sailing from troubled, turbulent, chaotic waters into smooth, peaceful, more serene waters. It's a card of peace, restoration, and healing. It's a very positive card, even though it has more of a kind of a quiet, somber feeling to it. I feel like whatever this challenge, this situation has been, it's left its mark on you. It's not something you're going to forget easily, nor should you, because it feels like you've learned a lot of important things and you've actually grown in character, or you have the opportunity to grow in character based on the decisions you make in moving through this. And you're going to be moving away from it. And it's going to be a lot more peaceful and serene for you. In other tarot decks, I've seen the water behind this boat be very choppy and wavy and turbulent, and the water in front of it be very smooth and placid and serene. It's transitional energy. So meaning that over the month of October, you have this situation, this tarot card energy you've been dealing with, and then you have this other place where it's over, everything's finally back, and you've moved on and away from it, and you're not there yet. But this is a card that represents that you're moving towards that. It's transitional energy. So it's all about kind of moving through and away from that in the month of October. And I think in November, you'll find yourself in a much more peaceful place. And again, how you feel and looking back on it and how you feel as you move away from this situation is going to depend on the decisions that you make during it, in terms of what you do and what you choose not to do. So keep that in mind and be thoughtful in considering and moving through this situation, Taurus. But I feel like the energy you already inherently possess in your own character traits of your sign will serve you well this month. That strong, capable, lovely, rooted energy. I think that place that Taurus can find themselves sometimes of making a decision and being immovable in that situation is going to serve you well in this. So it looks like a good month for Taurus, and I think you're going to gain a lot out of this. So Taurus, that represents the end of your reading for October 2016. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you find it useful, that it's given you a little bit of insight and clarity, and some food for thought in how to move through October and this situation. Um, I thank you very much for watching it, and I hope to see you all in a couple of weeks for the October 2016 mid-month readings. Again, if any of you are interested in a personal reading, just click on that little About button on my channel's homepage, and you can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. Thank you very much for watching and listening and subscribing, Taurus, and I hope to see you again in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.